What's the secret sauce when you work with leaders and teams to turn their data heavy, cluttered presentation into something genuinely compelling? I've seen it all the boardroom to startup things. In your experience, what are the top one or two more common yet crippling mistakes people consistently make when they are trying to present their ideas, especially when data is involved? Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of Skill Sapiens, where we bring real stories, raw journeys, and powerful insight from leaders shaping the world around them. Today, we have a guest who is on a mission to rescue us all from the clutches of death by PowerPoint and to transform the way we communicate. With over 2 decades of experience, he has watched brilliant ideas stumble, not due to flawed concepts, but due to poor communication. He is the founder of Knowledge Corporate Services, a boutique agency that partners with Fortune 500 companies, global MNCs, and ambitious startups to embed the presentation excellence and business storytelling into their culture. He's also shared his wisdom as a guest faculty at esteemed institutions like BIMTech, IMI Delhi, IIT Delhi, for and has curated TEDx talks. Please welcome the presentation maestro himself, Mohit Chhabra. Welcome, sir, on board. We are absolutely thrilled to have you with us and really looking forward to have an insightful session. Over to you.
Thank you, Shruti. Thank you. The pleasure and privilege is all mine. Thank you so much.
Okay, thank you, sir. So, my first question is, on looking onto your LinkedIn summary, you said killing boring presentation, empowering authentic communication, build presence. That's quite a battle cry. You have spent over 20 years in this field. What was that specific aha moment or experience that ignited this passion and set you path on this journey, and how you communicate various complex ideas?
So the trigger that I should do something in this domain came from a variety of sources. I had always envisioned that after about 12, 13 years of my work life, actually the point was a decade. I thought after a decade I'm done. I will start something on my own. I had not envisioned what I will start, but I definitely wanted to start something. And I worked across media, uh, research agencies, consulting companies. The one thing that I found common was presentations. And in all of my life experiences, I had endured death by PowerPoint. And because I had a marketing background, I looked at that and I said, there is, of course, a better way to do things, which means if we can do it better, it smells opportunity. So about 13 years ago, I hung up my boots full time. I started teaching immediately after class 12. Honestly, I used to take tuitions when I was doing college. And then I would also take classes in the evenings when I was working and on weekdays with, executive MBAs were very popular then. So there was a 2-year program full time, and the equivalent of that was a 3-year program where classes were held on Saturdays and Sundays. So I'd freelance at institutions and go and teach. So I guess I then kind of put two and two together. I said, let's do training and let's do presentations. So what we really do is we do two things. The first thing is what we call academy, which is pure play training. We have workshops around presentation skills, around around storytelling with data, all forms of communication. And the second is agency, where we work with CEOs, CXOs, sales departments, L&D heads, to wrap their ideas into compelling stories, which are then delivered as presentations. So that's what we call our agency business. So net, we practice what we preach and we preach what we practice.
So that is like amazingly said. Like no doubts of calling you a presentation maestro. So your company, Knowledge Corporate Services, has a tagline, "We enable transformations." That's a bold claim. Can you peel the curtain a bit and tell us more about the core philosophy of knowledge? What's the secret sauce when you work with leaders and teams to turn their data heavy, cluttered presentation into something genuinely compelling?
Okay, so that's a very good question. Uh, the agency business does it transformations. That's a very simple, straightforward job. You give us a cluttered, disintegrated, ugly-looking presentation, and we'll transform it into something that is pleasing to the eye. So that's straightforward. In the academy business, we come with the firm belief that for you to be able to demonstrate a skill, you need to have a body of knowledge as the foundation. So what we have been able to do in the last decade is that we have used that principle of knowledge and then a demonstration of a skill to create frameworks that are easy to remember and most importantly are sitting at the cusp of theory and practice. So I'll give you a small example. For a presentation to be transformed, it needs three S's: simplicity, specificity, and structure. Now, we've made an alliteration out of it. We've used the rule of three, which what we consider the golden rule of three in communication. Now, it becomes very easy to remember for anybody who's a practitioner. It's fairly straightforward and intuitive. And in the workshop, what we do is we first teach them this framework and then help them apply this framework to their daily life. And what it instantly does, it shows you that transformation of your communication, your story, your messaging, all of that is possible provided you have a foundation of knowledge. And that knowledge is what we convert into frameworks, which we make intuitive, which we make easy to understand, and which we make memorable. So that's how we enable transformations.
Use of framework to make the cluttered presentation more easy to understand and recall. So that is the way to go.
Yes.
Okay. So, sir, my next question is, you have seen it all the boardroom to startup things. In your experience, what are the top one or two more common yet crippling mistakes people consistently make when they are trying to present their ideas, especially when data is involved?
Okay. So I'll take a step back because for me, data is both qualitative information and quantitative information. So both text and numbers for me is data. So the one big mistake that everybody today seems to make is they want to tell everything. That's not possible. Your audience will run out of their patience to listen to you before you run out of your ability to tell them. So you don't have to tell them everything, which means you don't have to put everything on the slide. And last but not the least is that you have to work with what we call simplicity. Simplicity is reduce, reduce, reduce till you can reduce no more. And we live in a world where reels are getting from 10 seconds to 3 seconds. And the paradox is that people, when they talk about presentations, they say, I want to tell everything. That is the biggest single mistake that they do. And then this kind of translates into various dimensions. When you're talking, when you are making your slides, when you're trying to do your messaging. So remember, your audience runs out of their ability to listen far sooner than your ability to stop speaking.
Rightly said, sir. Don't explain everything into your presentation. Keep the things that matters the most into it. Okay.
Absolutely.
Yes. So moving to the next question. Having been in the field for over 2 decades, you have witnessed a significant shift in the business world. How have the communication and the presentation needs of the organization from Fortune 500 to startups evolved over time? And what's critical now, perhaps, which was not that much critical like 10 to 15 years back?
One of the biggest changes I have seen in my life is the emergence of a platform like Twitter. So when we were studying and then when we started working, there was no such thing as social media. And then social media is transformed into Twitter. So the biggest need that the world is now seeing is they want bite-sized information. So tell it to me quickly. One of the biggest skills that students and young professionals can learn is to make things concise yet meaningful. And I think that big shift that has happened, I don't remember exactly where I read this statistic, but this was related to how the media works. So about three and a half decades ago, the average bite or the quote that that was there from an executive was about 2 minutes. Today it's less than 20 seconds. So the ability to make it concise yet meaningful is the single biggest shift that has happened.
Rightly said, concise is the way where we should move forward while making our presentation or giving anything when we are uh, giving it to our top executives or the target customers. So you have taught
Absolutely.
communication and data storytelling as a guest faculty at premier institution across the world, and you have also curated TED Talks. So how does your approach to teaching communication differs in academic setting versus a corporate training platform, and what truly makes TED Talks stand out for you?
Okay, so there are two different questions, so I'll break it up differently. In an academic environment, there is very little emphasis and stress on application. We've told you a concept, we don't necessarily need to demonstrate how to apply it. And I think that is really the responsibility of the corporate world. Uh, Children, when they're children is the wrong word. Students, when they are in an academic institution, whether it's a college or a professional institution, the idea is to gain that body of knowledge that I was talking about. So when we go to an academic institution, the focus is on the knowledge. However, when we go to a corporate training environment, the focus is on application, which means you definitely need to discuss the knowledge. Sometimes the knowledge is also imparted as a pre-read. So the participants come into the workshop ready with a fair amount of knowledge, and we instantly start application. The other big dimension in the corporate is that the application has to be tailored to their specific use case. So, for instance, if I'm going to an FMCG client, they don't want to see a consumer durable application, which I think is an incorrect mindset, but that's how it's working right now. They want to see a FMCG example, they want to see FMCG applications. So, that is also where education differs in its definition from training. Training is about instant application, education is being ready for the future.
Rightly said. uh, it's been very clear that what is the core difference between school and how it is applicable in the school setting and versus the training corporate setting.
That's why when
So,
children ask you the question, no, what will we do with sine cos theta or sine cos tan? That's not the job of the teacher. That's the job of the trainer. So when
yes,
you go to the workplace, the trainer will tell you how to use it.
yeah. So thinking back to your education journey, you did your PGDM in from marketing in BIMTech. So how did that foundation in marketing shape your understanding and approach to communication and storytelling in the corporate world?
It's a very weird story. Uh, I came to a professional institution with the hope that the studies or the education or the curriculum will be foundationed on practice. And sadly, that was missing. So when I passed out, there was no trimester. It used to be a semester model. And by the end of the first semester, I was fairly disillusioned by what I was being taught. And this is the first time I'm narrating this story in a public platform. And I was borderline depressive in the second semester. And I stopped attending classes, so much so my attendance was short, and credibility, the credit of me scraping through my second semester goes to a very dear friend of mine who would come every morning to my home, ensure I get ready, and then he would plonk me on the pillion of his bike and take me to college, just because he did not want me to drop the second semester. And in that second semester, I spent more time at home than I did in the classroom, but I read a lot. I read, so I got memberships of the British Council and the American Center. And I read books on JFK's assassination, and I read books on culture, and I read poetry. And I don't even remember what all I read, but I read a lot. And I think those 6 months were as valuable to me as going to the class was. So one of the biggest things that then I kind of was able to do with some very good professors in the second year, because things shifted in the second year. We had a lot of visiting faculty who would come to teach us marketing subjects. The biggest thing that I learned was how to connect the dots. So how can you connect literature with marketing and marketing with language and language with... So I think this whole unique journey of getting borderline depressive, not going to classes, reading, and then going to classes to see a very different face of professors, that contributed immensely to where I am today and what I am doing.
Yes, so that is a very interesting anecdote. I am sure that people from the management background will surely relate to it. Sir, this has been really insightful. So now we will like to go to the rapid fire round. So are you ready?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yes, sir. So just one word or very short answer, please.
Sure,
So
sure, sure.
so beginning with the first question, one word to describe the feeling when a boring presentation is successfully killed.
Triumphant.
Yeah. For a high stake 5 minute pitch, slides or no slides.
Uh, no slides, but lots of clarity.
The most overused, cringe-worthy corporate jargon you hear in presentation.
I hope we are on the same page.
Your absolutely go-to tool or technique when crafting a compelling narrative.
Pen and paper.
Biggest communication pet peeve in a meeting.
I have lots, but people not being prepared.
Yeah. So fantastic answer. That was a lot of fun. Thank you for such an enlightening session. Your passion for transformation communication is truly infectious. The idea that brilliant idea shouldn't stumble because of poor delivery, something that will resonate deeply with our audience. Yeah, sir. Any concluding notes that you would like to give to us?
Yeah, can I change the word for the first one word question that you asked me? How does
Yes.
it feel to kill a... So it's not triumphant. I think the word I would like to now use is exhilarating.
Yeah. That's really fun. Thank you, sir, for joining us and
Thank you,
sharing your
Shruti. Thank you
journey.
so much.
Yes.
Thank
So,
you.
for from boring presentations to empowering authentic communication, your mission is one of the all learn and aspire to things that we all management students from working professionals to everyone will resonate to. And to everyone watching and listening, if Mohit sir's story and his passion to create impactful communication has inspired you, whether you are a student or a professional or an aspiring leader, make sure to like, share, and subscribe to Skill Sapiens on our YouTube channel. Drop your thoughts, question, or your presentation horror stories in the comment below. We would love hearing to you. Stay tuned for more stories that spark change. Until next time, keep learning, keep building, keep communicating with an impact.